You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there? Ended up with a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr. Depp, with respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was simply,
when
you would agree,
you would
agree that on Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please.
500?
500, Defense Exhibit 500.
I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour anytime?
You can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine.
Stop right there. Before we continue on to this video, I want to tell you guys about fadegrips.store. They have some amazing merch along with hats, hoodies, shirts, grips, and more grips. They have all the grips. They have glow-in-the-dark grips. They have camo grips and much, much more. Dude, use it for style. Use it for tactical stuff during gaming. It's amazing. I highly suggest them. So please, please go to fadegrips.store and use my promo code SPIKE678 for an 8% discount. So without further ado, let's get right back into the video. Welcome back, guys. Today I'm gonna have an awesome video. So as you guys know, the last day for the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial was on Friday. They did the closing arguments, and it was interesting. It was very interesting, and we're gonna go through it. I'm gonna pick out some points. We're not gonna watch this entire video, but I'm gonna find some good points and see what we can make out of it. And as you guys know, or at least you should know, we probably won't get a verdict until Tuesday because of Memorial Day weekend. They're not here on Monday, but hopefully on Tuesday we can find out. Tuesday or Wednesday. So, and it can go like one of three ways. Either one of them wins, or they both lose. Now, I'll be fine if they both lose and if Johnny wins, but if Amber wins and Johnny doesn't win at all, I'm done. I would lose all faith in the justice system, and I'll be pissed. But let's go through this. Let me pick out some good parts and we will talk about it and see what we can make out of it. Come on.
One, Adam Waldman.
So the first part is just the judge talking to jury to make sure, or to kind of give them the jury instructions. Let them know
that the statements were probably false.
It's time for you.
First up is Camille.
To come to a decision. You have been entrusted with a serious task. What is at stake in this trial is a man's good name. Even more than that, what is at stake at this trial is a man's life. The life that he lost when he was accused of a heinous crime, and the life he could live when he is finally vindicated. Exactly 6 years ago today, on May 27th, 2016, Ms. Heard walked into court and filed a false report of domestic abuse against her husband of 15 months, Johnny Depp. The scene was a setup. She tipped off the paparazzi so they would be waiting. They knew exactly where she would pause, which side of her face to photograph. And the photos captured what she wanted them to see, the image of a battered woman.
I agree. So right now she was talking about TMZ, how she tipped off TMZ and stuff. First of all, she claims she didn't tip him off at all. First of all, how is that possible? Because first, you had your publicist there. So you had your publicist there. You wanted some kind of, paparazzi showing up or whatever. And then not only did you admit it on when you were getting your TRO, I believe, by her deposition, but she also there was instructions that the TMZ guys had, to capture a certain side of the face and stuff like that. Like, it was her. Maybe it wasn't her specifically. But Rocky Pennington was also there, so I'm pretty sure she could have done it too. So one of her groups, whether it's her or her friends, someone tipped off TMZ, and it wasn't Johnny Depp. Why if she's blaming Johnny Depp for it, why would Johnny Depp do that? Why would Johnny Depp humiliate himself like that? Why would he go out to the media to bash himself? That makes no sense.
What the paparazzi did not know is that the dark mark on her face mysteriously appeared 6 days after last seeing Mr. Depp. It was a lie. She knew it, Mr. Depp knew it, and the multiple witnesses you heard from who saw her that week of May 21st, 2016, also knew it. But the world only saw what she wanted them to see.
She's like, look at this. There's no way Johnny Depp would be making this up or would be doing this himself. It would definitely be Amber Heard.
Two years later, when promoted, she never thought she would have her supposed mountain of evidence vetted. She never thought that Mr. Depp would tell you, the jury, and the world that he was the real victim of domestic abuse. She said it in her own words.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and yes. It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
At the start of this case,
I don't know if you guys heard that. It was kind of quiet, but literally she was on recording basically saying that see if the judge and jury would believe you only because you're a man. Like, what? It's not looking good for her.
Mr. Chu and I stood before you to give you our opening statements. Seriously injured and bleeding from a partially amputated finger. What did Ms. Heard do? She pursued him. She kept coming after him. Because that's what she...
What the motion of my actual...
Oh, this one's good.
I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door.
This is her admitting to hitting him.
You didn't mean to hit me in the head with the door, but you meant to punch me in the jaw.
I meant to hit you, and I did not do this thing with the door. I do remember I did mean to hit you.
So that you didn't mean?
The door? No, God, no, I didn't.
But punching me in the jaw.
I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry I hit you. I did mean to hit you, but it was in response. I just reacted in response to my foot. I just reacted.
You heard her admit it again and claim Mr. Depp was a baby for complaining about the abuse.
And I watched you lie, and then
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, you've been in a lot of fights. You've been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a close
You
face.
didn't get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you started.
You are such a baby. Grow the fuck up,
You started
Johnny.
physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to
Because-
get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable.
Take a minute.
Like, come on. She tries to deny this video, like, oh, it wasn't talking about that. Like, bro, it doesn't matter what the context was of that video. You admitted to hitting him. to starting a physical fight, calling him a baby, saying that he's a baby for running away every time. Like, come on, are you that stupid, Amber? It irritates me.
Minute to that TMZ knew to go to the courthouse, knew what side of her face the alleged bruise was on, and that Ms. Heard would pause. She would pause for paparazzi, who got the photos that ended up splashed across newspapers and magazines. Ms. Heard testified that she did not personally give photographs of her apparent injuries to People magazine, but somehow these pictures that she took and maintained on her devices ended up on the cover of People magazine.
I agree. So the TMZ guy was here the day before the closing arguments. He testified saying, now didn't come up and say Amber tipped them off, but basically said that she did without some of the context. He was there throughout all of Amber's stuff. One of the instances where there was a video of him of Johnny slamming cabinets that TMZ got and stuff. The TMZ said the only way that they would get it is either they recorded the video, which obviously it didn't, it was Amber's video, or B, where it comes from the original creator because of content or copyright reasons. So why would, and there was like a third reason, but it basically ties into the second reason of it would have had to come from the original device and the original person. So Amber, you can't deny that.
1 month later.
Which is kind of funny because she's blaming Johnny Depp for all this TMZ stuff, saying how I guess his assistant or lawyer was has connections with TMZ. No, if that was the case, maybe they do, because they're celebrities and so they're high up people. Maybe they do have connections with TMZ. Why would they be tipping off TMZ to make him look bad if they're on his side? Makes no sense. You were the one getting the TRO. You're the one with the recorded video. Only you are the one to provide all that. I don't like how Amber's been snickering this entire time, passing notes, and first of all, it irritates me because she's probably writing down lies on those notes, to basically writing down stuff that she wants her lawyers to say. I guarantee you her lawyers know how she is. And it irritates me. She even said on the stand, her second time on the stand, saying how she doesn't do all this bickering and snickering and all that talking and stuff that she says that Johnny does, but which, yeah, he does, but he has every right to. But she lied about that, which even if you did, I don't think it just wouldn't. I don't know. She's just making no sense. I want to get to where Ben Chu gets on the
Horrific tale of abuse. Either she's a victim of truly horrific abuse, or she is a woman who is willing to say absolutely anything. It is disturbing to think that Ms. Heard would make up the horrific tales of abuse that she testified to in this courtroom. But this case doesn't come down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp. This case comes down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp, Christy Dombrowski, Sean Bett, Malcolm Connolly, Travis McGivern, Starling Jenkins, Keenan Wyatt, Dr. Kipper, nurses Debbie Lloyd and Aaron Filati, Tara Roberts, Ben King, Kate James, Kate Moss, Dr. Colbert, Morgan Knight, Morgan Tremaine, Officers Melissa Sines, Officers Tyler Haddon, Officer William Gatlin, and Beverly Leonard. What Ms. Heard testified to in this courtroom is the story of far too many women. but the overwhelming evidence and weight of that evidence shows that it is not her story. It's not Ms. Heard's story. It was an act of profound cruelty, not just to Mr. Depp, but to true survivors of domestic.
How she mentioned it's not her story. Basically meaning is that she's taking people who do suffer from domestic violence and sexual abuse. She's taking those people's stories and making it her own, which is a huge point that I'm glad Camille brought up. You know, she's taking other actual survivors of this, men and women, and making it her own. And that was beautifully well said from our Queen Camille.
Abuse. For Ms. Heard to hold herself out as a public figure representing domestic abuse. It was false, it was defamatory, and it caused irreparable harm. And to talk more about that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and my friend, Mr. Chu.
Dude, it's so emotional. Like, they're all friends, family, and I love it. Just look how happy they are to each other. That, like, I love them. I do want to say one thing. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it later on. But Elaine, I do feel bad for Elaine. Not so much this guy, definitely not her, and Rottenborn, which is behind them. But Elaine, I do feel bad for. Because I've been hearing from multiple sources that Amber's been not physically abusive to her, but like mentally and emotionally abusive to her, you know, saying stuff to her, saying, you know, oh, I need new lawyers and stuff like that. Well, this is what you get. You suck. But I do feel bad for Elaine because she's been kind of caught in the crossfire, and I don't even think she wanted this case, to be honest. And I think she's kind of throwing it out on purpose. I don't know, but I think she's doing it on purpose. But besides that, like some how you present yourself could have been done a lot better. I don't want to be too hard on her, but like I feel like she could be a good lawyer, and I know Amber is just throwing her lies, so that's what she's working off of. But just how you present yourself makes a big difference. Like it does make a big difference, and no matter what the case is, no matter if she's telling the truth or not, Elaine should be presenting herself a lot better than she has been. And it gets worse whenever cross-examination that she does happens later on. Just look at that smirk she's doing. And they're struggling with the mic.
Thank you, Camille. Logistics are not our strong suit. And thanks to all of you, truly, for taking so much time over these last several weeks to listen to Mr. Depp, to his friends, to his family, and to so many others who have come forward physically in this courtroom, some from a very long distance, to tell you the truth.
And I think they bring it. Sorry for stopping so much, but I think they brought it up. I think Camille brought it up in rebuttal, closing statements or closing argument. She mentions, first of all, that nobody shows up in the courtroom for Amber Heard, and it's all Johnny Depp, which savage. She said the only person that showed up for her is her sister. Damn. And Ben made a good point right now. How, and it gets brought up, like I said, from Camille later on, but Ben, he mentions how, with all these witnesses coming forward in the courtroom, not by deposition, not by video recording, but in the courtroom from very long distances. We got people from the UK, from Australia, from all across the country coming to support Johnny Depp, and I love it. I truly do love it. Like, literally, with Amber, during the rest of the testimonies, like before rebuttals, most of her how should I say this? Most of her witnesses were by depositions from a year or two ago, or from earlier this year. Like, come on. Even her own, like Camille even said, even her own friends don't want to show up for her. That says a lot. And I agree, because I was wondering when I was watching the trials, I was wondering, why are all these depositions? This must make a big impact than a live witness, because you, and experts even said this, with a live witness, you can definitely tell their emotion. They're just, you can tell if they're telling the truth or not. By deposition, it's like, you don't know what objections are going on. You don't know what's actually going on, because a lot of things are being cut out of each deposition, which I think is strange. So Johnny Depp, most of his expert witnesses came forward in the courtroom, and the only time I saw live witnesses from Amber Heard's side was like a couple during rebuttals for her, during like the 6 hours of rebuttals that she had. Yeah, it was something else. And I even talked about this in the last video, where, you know, I was showing some of the things that she, some of her witnesses. It was not pretty. So it does not look good on her.
After so many years, to correct the record, as Ms. Vasquez said, you have now come to know the real Amber Heard. Scary. We also told you at the start of this trial that you were going to come to know the real Johnny Depp, not the many characters you've seen him play so wonderfully in the movies, but the man himself.
Look at her smiling, like she's not being exposed right now. I think that's how delusional she is. She thinks she got this case in the bag.
You have heard from Mr. Depp's big sister, who's here in the courtroom today, Christy Dombrowski, who told you how Mr. Depp grew up in a deeply troubled household with a mother, Betty Sue, who was physically abusive and mentally cruel. As Ms. Dombrowski testified, one of the names that Betty Sue called Mr. Depp when he was a little boy was One Eye, because he had to wear an eye patch for some time. His mother used to hit his father and the kids, including young Mr. Depp. And when his mother got violent, Mr. Depp would retreat and find a place to hide. Sometimes he and his sister Christy would find a place to hide.
I like how he looks over to Christy, you know, getting that emotion. And the best thing about both the Camille and Ben, they got emotional when giving these closing statements. They could feel it.
Those are habits he returned to later, when he found himself in a relationship with another person who returned his love with abuse, with physical abuse.
And real quick, I do want to give a shout out to all these people who are support of Johnny Depp, that's on his legal team, especially this guy who's been doing quite a bit of the cross-examination throughout this trial. They are awesome. And they're just amazing. Like, they're just awesome.
And despite this long, unhappy history with his mother,
I think these guys also back her, yeah. And that's a security guard.
His back on her. In her elder years, Mr. Depp moved his mother to California. And he moved
He has more people on his legal team than Amber does, it
right
looks like.
across the street from his house, so his two children could get to know her. He hired nurses for his mother. He made sure to take care of her. And
you know, Ben is right now explaining about his childhood. After all the abuse that he has suffered from his own mother, when he got older, he still took care of her. And it just shows you how he cares for women, no matter how much they abuse him and stuff. He cares for people. no matter what harm they've done to them. It just shows how he cared about Amber during
comfortable.
when she was abusive to
Never
him.
went to hospice. She had the nurses make her comfortable to the day she died. And from those humble and difficult beginnings, Mr. Depp grew into
That's
one of the
Johnny's
greatest actors
sister,
and movie stars of his generation.
Got a very emotional
Came to Los Angeles
testimony.
with his first love as a young man, planning to be a musician. Music had been a part of his life ever since he found peace himself in his room as a young boy, when he was escaping, and he learned to play the guitar and would use it as solace. But it was an actor as his star began its rise, as he appeared in films too many to mention, including, of course, his iconic role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
I like how he says
Fate came with
Captain Jack
challenges
Sparrow.
to Mr. Depp and his family. It was a strange experience for a shy young man from Kentucky to be thrust into the limelight, pursued by paparazzi, and to have even his very name become a brand. But he did his best to live a private, quiet life, and despite it all, and over the years built a reputation as a respected artist and as a decent, very well-liked man, which you've heard from many people. Mr. Depp dated major figures like Winona Ryder, Kate Moss, and Vanessa Paradis, with whom he spent 14 years together and with whom they had their children. Before Amber Heard, ladies and gentlemen, no woman ever before Amber Heard ever claimed that Mr. Depp raised a hand to her.
That is a strong point. No woman has ever.
And no other woman
Come out.
since Ms. Heard made that false claim back on May 27th, 2016, and repeated it in her December 2018 op-ed. Has any woman come forward since? This is Me Too without any Me Too. To the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, you heard Kate Moss 2 days ago testify. This is a woman who has never testified in any proceeding, ever. A very private person. Testified that Mr. Depp never abused her, and that Ms. Heard lied to you. And she lied to you twice when she told you.
Objection, Your Honor. That, Ms. Sure.
Of this trial talking about drugs and alcohol. Mr. Depp is no saint, and he has never claimed to be one. He has made mistakes in his life, as we all have. Yes, he has struggled with drugs and alcohol, but you never heard him deny that. We told you that in the opening statement. He owns his flaws. He admits to them. He told you all about them. But he is not a violent abuser. He's not an abuser, as Ms. Heard claims. And he did not and does not deserve to have his life, his legacy, destroyed by a vicious lie. And this is, as Ms. Vasquez said, this is the 6th anniversary of that. There is a world of difference between having substance abuse problems and being a physical abuser.
But yeah, no, he basically goes on and on,
Intended those words to mean.
explaining all the evidence that they have found and stuff. And there's a really,
Very much, ladies and gentlemen.
I want you guys to see
Let's
this.
go ahead and take a break at this time. Again, this case has not been submitted to you yet. We will continue with closing arguments. When we come
Look-
back,
look
you
at
can
that
discuss
love.
the case with yourselves. Don't do any outside research, okay?
Like, just how much they appreciate each other. After this, they go on with the closing arguments from
Danish girl
Johnny, or for Amber.
for Christmas.
And I don't want to hear Ron Bourne's voice because it's annoying.
Until he testified truthfully 4 years ago about the drugs and alcohol, and he stopped talking to him. There was a couple.
But I want to say, I can't. I don't know which part of the closing arguments it was, but they say that Johnny Depp never never accepted any responsibility. Huh? He accepted the fact that he talked about the fact that he was a drug and alcohol addict, and he acknowledges that. He knew that he did all that. So he took blame. Unlike Amber Heard, is blaming every witness for lying and then blaming Johnny Depp and not taking responsibility for herself. She's lying about how much cocaine she does. There's no way that she only does cocaine on special occasions. There's no way. Some of her people that know her has come out and said that she still does it. And it wouldn't surprise me. She's been doing during the trial. She's been very sketchy during this entire trial. So it doesn't surprise me. I just don't know why she's blaming every witness. Johnny Depp not once blamed any of Amber's witnesses or any witness for lying other than Amber Heard. He did not say, oh yeah, they're all lying but me. No. Amber's the one that wants to point fingers.
Bruce Witkin said. One of the things is he said he met Adam Waldman once. Adam Waldman said, do you have any dirt on the Mandels? And he said no, and that was it. Then he didn't care. He is an attack dog. All he wants to do is attack and put dirt on. He said, we don't invest.
What I've noticed is that Elaine's not looking at her notes. She's just kind of doing all these gestures, motions, not looking at her notes once. She's trying to poll the jury. She's trying to connect with the jury. Now, Camille and Ben, they were all looking at their notes. Even Ron Bourne was looking at his notes. Like, who cares if you're looking at your notes or not? But Elaine is kind of coming out to be the person who thinks, thinks that she was there. She wasn't there. She doesn't know. All she knows is what Amber told her, which is lies.
Loudly. Then his bodyguards hear this. They come in. They break it up. That's how that happens. But the next part.
Another thing, when she's explaining these events, she's over-explaining it. She's not. She claims, or she said it at the beginning, saying, "Oh, I'll make this quick, whatever." First of all, you don't want to do that. She's only saying that because they're on a time crunch, and I'll explain that here in a minute. But she's like Amber. I think Elaine has a histrionic personality disorder because she's over exaggerating events. She's over explaining events and stuff that's irrelevant in this story and stuff. And then the reason why she's saying that she's gonna make it quick, whatever, is because just like so during the witnesses' testimonies and trials and stuff, each side had like 65 hours to basically make their point. By the end, Johnny had like 15 hours left while she had like 4. So they were definitely running low on time. That's why they only had like a couple hours of witnesses or rebuttal witnesses at the end, because they did not have enough time for that. I was kind of wanting during this and during the closing, or during the other testimony, I wish Amber's side ran out of time, because I would like for them to be embarrassed when the judge says, okay, you're done. Johnny, finish up, basically, because Johnny's team had a lot more time that they could utilize. And along with this, the cross-examinations, each side has 2 hours. By the time they got to the rebuttal closing arguments at the end, Johnny's side had 39 minutes to finish up, and then Amber's side had 6 minutes. 6 minutes to make a point. I do have to say, Ron Bourne did an excellent job in wrapping everything up in 6 minutes. He really did. I'm pretty sure that's why they had him do it. I'm pretty sure that's why they had him do that, because Elaine was all over the place.
Remember Josh Drew, and I think Elizabeth Mars was a domestic violence. take credit for those. And in fact, both the ACLU and Children's Hospital got confused and gave the credit to Mr. Depp, not to Amber for that.
No, that's not true at all. No, because it was all credit to Amber Heard. It wasn't credited to Johnny at all because it was. I just. So I'm gonna step it right here because it's just like going on and on. But like, her closing arguments was such a mess. It was such a mess. But I hope Johnny wins this, or neither one of them. Because at least Amber, I don't want Amber to win anything at all. Another thing I want to point out before I go, Elaine mentions how she only, they're fine with only rewarding Amber $250,000 or something like that. They're suing for $100 million. Because, the jury doesn't have to give the entire amount that they're asking for, but, they're saying, Johnny slapped $50 million on Amber, so we went back and basically fought him, and now we're countersuing for $100 million, but we would be fine if you only reward us $250,000. Like, bro, no, you wouldn't. You would not be fine on that. Amber's all about money, nothing else. That's why she wanted $100 million. If you were so gun-ho about wanting $250,000, then you should have just countersued him for $250,000. But $100 million, that's a little too extreme for the claims that she is claiming. See, at least with Johnny Depp is reasonable with the amount. He could have sued her for $200 million. I mean, she doesn't have that, and she doesn't even have $50 million, but he could have sued him for $200. But he knows that is too extreme. Amber didn't lose any roles up until this point. And then Johnny, all that $50 million is damages that he lost throughout the last 6 years. So I think, I don't know, but I'm a little nervous for Tuesday, but I will keep you guys updated. I will record another video Tuesday when I get home from work for the results. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe and follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DragonSpike17, which the link will be down below. Plus, go check out my merch as well. That link will also be down below. Check out, well, actually, you can go to my Twitch channel and then check out my merch. Yeah, and also check out HelloFresh. That's what this video is sponsored by. So check that out. Yeah. So I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching, and peace out.